We're going to take a look back at the careers of the Best Actor nominees. Take a look. Bradley Cooper picks up his 5th Oscar nomination in an acting category for his transformative performance as Leonard Bernstein in Maestro.
Music is, I know this is going to sound strange, it's the most important thing that I can do.
In 2012, he received his first Oscar nom for his performance in Silver Linings Playbook, which also co-starred fellow nominee Robert De Niro. But in 1999, it was a young, inquisitive acting student who had the opportunity to pick the brain of one of his heroes and future co-star.
How you doing, Mr. De Niro? My name is Bradley Cooper. My question is regarding Awakenings.
He went from student of the actor studio to guest, and in this appearance, paying tribute to one of his mentors.
I just have to mention Andreas Menelakakis as well. I learned how to deconstruct a script from this man right here.
That professor saying he knew Cooper had it in him to go all the way from the moment he met him.
Bradley was one of those students who really stood out. We see it in his work. He's completely dedicated. I see him up there, and then I have these flashbacks in class, and that's a beautiful, beautiful feeling.
You need a light?
While in school, he got his very first break making a guest appearance in Sex and the City.
You want to go for a ride in my Porsche?
From driving Porsches on the streets of New York to whitewater rafting on the rivers of West Virginia, yes, that's a young Bradley Cooper who hosted just a handful of episodes of the Travel Channel show Globe Trekkers.
It's the beginning of the Gully River. I'm placing my craft right there.
In 2001, he made his big screen debut in the star-studded indie comedy Wet Hot American Summer.
If you can't carry a tune, don't come into the audition environment and waste our time.
And like some of his fellow nominees, Cooper would make an appearance on the performance training ground that is Law and Order.
Gabriel's too smart for your tricks. He's not going to leave his DNA in a soda can.
Colman Domingo shines in his transformative performance as the pioneering civil rights organizer Bayard Rustin, which earned him his first Oscar nomination.
On the day that I was born black, I was also born a homosexual. They either believe in freedom and justice for all, or they do not.
Early in his career, Domingo was cast in a role that he says shaped his life and career, the Broadway musical Passing Strange, which would later be filmed by Spike Lee.
I got that musical the day after my mother passed away. But that changed my life because suddenly I was performing in a very raw manner. This was a whole other level because it was untethered. Both my parents were gone, and all I had was art.
His Broadway success would continue in his 2011 Tony-nominated performance as Mr. Bones in The Scottsboro Boys.
Hey, I play all kinds of characters.
Like Bradley Cooper before him, Colman Domingo made more than one appearance on Law and Order.
This knife might have been used to dismember the body.
In 2012, he appeared briefly as Private Harold Green alongside Daniel Day-Lewis in Steven Spielberg's Lincoln.
How long have you been a soldier?
2 years, sir.
Paul Giamatti picks up his second Oscar nomination for his portrayal as the jaded and disillusioned classics teacher, Paul Hunnam, in The Holdovers.
I can't fail this class.
Oh, don't sell yourself short, Mr. Coates. I truly believe that you can.
This year's Oscar nomination comes nearly 20 years after his first performance working with The Holdovers director, Alexander Payne, in the wine-soaked dramedy Sideways. Before Giamatti was educating us on the complexities of Pinot Noir, he was being educated at Yale's Repertory Theater, eventually landing on Broadway. In 1995, he was cast in his very first feature film, Woody Allen's Mighty Aphrodite.
There was a Leslie St. James, who was a member of the Screen Extras Guild.
In Saving Private Ryan, Giamatti appears in a single scene as Sergeant Hill under fire from a German sniper.
Most of the German fire now is concentrated to the westward.
Jeffrey Wright snags his first Oscar nomination in American Fiction for his portrayal of Thelonious Monk Ellison, a struggling, aging writer.
These books have nothing to do with African-American studies. They're just literature. The blackest thing about this one is the ink.
Wright rose to prominence in the early 90s for his iconic performance in the Tony Kushner play Angels in America. His performance earned him a Tony Award.
To fight the good fight is all I ever really wanted to do as an actor, and to do that on Broadway and be honored for it is very hip.
He would reprise that role a decade later in the acclaimed HBO miniseries, earning him an Emmy and a Golden Globe.
You don't talk to me like that, not when I'm holding something this sharp, or I might slip and stick it in your heart if you have a heart.
Blink, and you might miss him manning the phones in Harrison Ford's 1990 movie Presumed Innocent. And while the original Indiana Jones himself didn't star in the series, Jeffrey Wright landed one of his first gigs in the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles in 1993.
Not tonight, Jones. Tonight, we're playing the blues. My name's Jean-Michel Basquiat. Have you heard of me?
3 years later, he would star in his first major motion picture as the visionary artist Jean-Michel Basquiat, alongside David Bowie, Gary Oldman, and Dennis Hopper. The ever-versatile Cillian Murphy is up for his very first Oscar for his blockbuster performance as Robert J. Oppenheimer in Christopher Nolan's epic Oppenheimer.
My favorite response: Oppenheimer couldn't run a hamburger stand.
I couldn't. But I can run the Manhattan Project.
Before he graced the silver screen, Cillian and his brother were aspiring musicians in the mid-90s, playing in their jazz rock band, A Son of Mr. Green Jeans.
Obviously, it has its roots in jazz and 70s music, but it's now moving on. It's becoming popular now, really popular.
But it wasn't the music critics that noticed Murphy early on. It was those paying attention to the stage when they first caught his critically acclaimed performance of the play Disco Pigs in 1997, which he reprised on screen in 2001.
It's like a big rescue in here, right?
He quickly found himself performing alongside other up-and-coming A-listers like Scarlett Johansson in the 2003 film Girl with the Pearl Earring.
Don't walk away, listen to me. Don't get caught up in his world.
In 2005, he would land his first of 6 Christopher Nolan films in Batman Begins, playing the DC Comics villain, the Scarecrow.
I'm probably not very frightening to a guy like you, but these crazies can't stand it.
But in a role that would eventually go to Christian Bale,
She'll murder my parents.
Murphy was also a serious contender to be Batman, and even did several screen tests for Nolan.
Who was with Falcone at the docks?
Countless auditions, theater performances, and single-scene roles, all leading these 5 enormously talented actors to one of the biggest nights of their lives. And one of those men will be walking out with the Oscar tonight.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.